Hey everybody, I'm Glenn.
And I'm Xander.
Today we're going to build this electronic traffic light kit. It's going to give me the opportunity to teach Xander how to do a little bit of soldering, maybe some basic electronic knowledge, and a few other hand tools. So stick with us. And we'll end up with a nice traffic kit. Hey everybody, we're back. As we said, today we're going to be building this electronic traffic light kit. I did purchase this some time ago and we've yet to put it together. I bought it to teach Xander how to do soldering, but he's a little gun shy of the soldering iron, and that's all right. We're gonna work through that today. I did explain to him that as long as you stay on the orange parts, that you're okay. Stay away from the metal parts. The metal parts are the parts that get hot.
I'm not.
Ooh, that's hot. No, I'm kidding. I haven't turned it on yet. But yeah, as long as you know, if you're new to soldering, and as long as you keep your hands back where you're supposed to keep them, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
So you don't pass this red part.
Yeah, this little ring right here on this Weller gun is as far as you'd want to go. You don't even want to get up into this part because this part starts to get warm because of the metal attachment to that. So I am going to go ahead and turn the iron on now. We're going to let that get warmed up. A couple of the things that you might want to have handy. This is tip tinner. You use this for cleaning and re-tinning the tip of the soldering iron. If you notice, the soldering iron is nice and silver. In fact, let's go ahead and pop us over to the other view. You can see there that the focus on this camera is terrible, but the tip of that is nice and silver, and that's what you want. You want it to be shiny. If the tip is dull and nasty, then it's not going to heat right. This is another guy that I got that's kind of a lifesaver. A lot of times with these soldering stations, let's see if I can get this into camera view. No, the cord's not long enough. But there's a sponge, and you fill that sponge up, usually with distilled water, for cleaning the tip in between, so that you don't get solder buildup in there. Well, that's what this guy does. This actually sucks the solder right off the tip, cleans it up, so that you get good heat and good flow of your
solder. So whenever you're done using it, you just put it in there? You
just kind of dab it, and I'll show you when it gets hot. It's got to be hot to do it, but I'll show you how to clean that up. And by the way, solder, spelled S-O-L-D-E-R, is for some reason pronounced here in America as solder, like as in S-O-D-D-E-R, and really it's solder. But if you say solder here in the U.S., for some reason, the whole entire world just freaks out and spins out of control. They can't handle us saying things like that. So these guys right here, if you don't own a pair of these and you do any kind of electronic work, you should absolutely have a pair of these. They're side cutters, but they're flush cutters is the main goal of these, because it doesn't leave a large hang. And if you do a lot of zip tie cutting, these will save your hands from getting ripped up on the chunks of zip tie left. And these are just Harbor Freight brand. They're cheap, but they're fantastic. I usually buy them about 6 pair at a time. So I guess let's get into unboxing this kit, shall we?
Yeah.
I can't even remember where this kit came from. It might have been from Radio Shack when our local Radio Shack was going out of business, which is kind of what I'm thinking, because it's got a black mark through the barcode.
Yeah, it's probably Radio Shack.
Otherwise, it's Amazon. Amazon's about the only other place that I get stuff like this from, but it's a Velman mini kit. So you can see, yeah, there, Velman traffic light. It does require soldering. Imagine that. And it's a soldering kit. I'll bump my mic up just a little bit, so there we go.
Okay.
Hopefully the audio is good in this video. All right, so the first thing out of the box, we have a 9-volt battery adapter. Now there's a really good chance that this isn't going to work for us, because I only have one 9-volt battery for some reason, and it's pretty weak. So what I did was I gathered up. I have Oh, no, that looks like it's not going to work either. It's not going to plug in there, but we're going to figure it out. But I do have this. It's a 12-volt adapter for AA batteries. And if I have to just jump across to get to 9 volts, we can do that as well. So, but there's the 9-volt battery adapter. Looks pretty sharp.
Yep.
All right. Any idea what these are, Xander?
No.
It's terrible focus. Let me try quick adjusting the focus here. Might be closer to that camera than we thought we were supposed to be. All right, so everything's good at the table level. It's not good up close. Well, these are resistors, and the purpose of these are to resist. All right, so really what it does is it resists current flow. And current is the flow of electrons from negative to positive. That's current. So these actually resist the amount of current. So if you need to step that down for certain components, that's what those do. For instance, LEDs, which this bag's got a bunch of LEDs in it, being that this project is mostly LED. LEDs you can't just hook to a battery. They generally can't handle it, and they'll get real bright for a second, and then they won't ever work again. So that's that bag. Let's see. Let's break this open and see. We're just gonna have components all over the desk. It'll be okay. Let's see what we got in there. We got a few more resistors in there. We have a transistor. I got to put on my Superman glasses here. That is a BC547 transistor. Transistors work like an electronic switch. It has a collector, an emitter, and a base. And what it does is by applying power to certain legs, it allows current flow out at the other leg, like a switch. Speaking of switches, we also have switches.
Cool.
Potentiometer, which is just like a resistor, only it's variable. Capacitors, which are like little batteries. They help even out the voltage, but they actually do store a little voltage inside of them. The bigger ones can actually hurt you. So, but we're not playing with those today. Everything here is good. Got a socket for the IC, and then it looks like oh, we got a screw. That must be to hold the battery box on. We got 2 screws. I'm gonna set those back in the plastic bin there. We have a couple of ceramic capacitors, a couple more resistors. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm not even sure what that is. Unless it's the tool. Oh, I bet it is. I bet it's yes, it is. It's the knob for the variable resistor.
Okay.
Probably could just 3D printed one of those.
Yeah. Well, we have to wait for that.
Yeah, our printer's still coming from the Czech Republic.
How many more weeks?
Oh, 4 or 5. Feels like 100. We're excited to get it.
Yeah.
All right, next up, the PC board.
PC board.
That stands for printed circuit, not personal computer.
Oh.
So, as you can see here, it's nice silk screened on the back side of it. Screen printed. I guess they don't actually silk screen anymore, do they? That's an old term. And then this side's got your copper. And we'll do board etching one day too. I'll show you how to make one of these boards. That's pretty cool. We have the Xander diode. It's just fun to say Xander diode.
Yeah,
Xander diode.
Xander diode.
Xander, that's a little nerdy. You're saying that a little nerdy, like a little Xander diode. So, and then we have another pack of resistors, and then this foam block.
Whoa!
Is it the foam block?
I wonder what we're going to use that for.
It's anti-static foam. There's actually an IC tip in there. It's like magic. So you guys didn't see that? Like
magic.
I'm a magician. Like
Magic.
Got a chip.
The closer you look, the less you see.
All right, so, oh, you know what? I didn't bring any solder over here. I Guess I need some solder.
Yeah, you need solder. Or
And we have a roll of very fine solder. Oop, there we go. So, and that's just standard electronic solder. You want to make sure it's rosin core. 60-40 is your typical mix. That's 60%, lead and tin. All right, you ready?
Yep.
You know what I don't see? What are we missing in this kit? Instructions. Maybe they're inside of here. Oh yeah. All right, we're good. We have some instructions.
Oh my god.
We'd had to do a lot of guessing, which wouldn't have been so terrible, but
It wouldn't work right.
probably not.
But let's just say that it wouldn't work.
All right, a pair of these are also very, very handy when you're doing electronic work.
Ooh.
These have a very, very nice thin end on them. So when you're bending the legs of the resistors over, I don't know if you guys can see this. Yeah, let me try dimming the light down a little bit. Yeah, maybe that's better. Not so washed out. So you can see that you have to bend your resistors over, and these work really well for that. So
These?
well, all the components really. I mean, any of them that are like this will generally plug right into the board. So
Like into the holes.
into the holes. All right. So I think the first thing that we should do is let you do a little test soldering. So I didn't really set up for that. So
Yeah, so
let's just jump into it.
who needs that?
What's the worst thing that can happen? All right, so step number 1 says resistor. And R1 through R4 is a 2K2 resistor. Now, I don't have, years ago, I could have told you what all of that meant. I don't have that knowledge in my head anymore. But they were nice enough to tell us it's a red, or a rood, or a roog, or a rot. I guess that's all the other languages.
Yeah.
But a red resistor. So if you look at the resistors, where are all the resistors? Wasn't there a bigger sheet of resistors? No, I guess that's the Xander diodes. If you look at each of these, and I know you guys really won't see that on the camera. It's not gonna focus on that. But if you look at those and tell me what color those are.
Red.
And
Gold.
That's right.
Gold.
That fourth band, the red is always your resistance designation. The gold is actually the tolerance percentage, and gold is your better quality. I don't think you see many anymore that aren't gold. I haven't been able to find, not that I've been looking, but I haven't seen that low quality resistors in a long time. And I suppose even if they were made overseas and flooded into the market, they would just counterfeit them gold anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and test the end of the soldering iron, see if it's hot yet.
Oh,
That's good and
it's
hot.
hot.
All right, so now you see how that tip is turned like kind of a grayish brown?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's hot. So, but you just take this into here and you just kind of rub it around, stab it in there. Like, oh, I don't like you anymore.
Die.
And then you see how that tip, the very tip, is cleaned up?
Yeah.
That's what you want. You want that to be tinned. So, okay, so these directions leave a lot to be desired. What they're saying is there's just, it's not a step by step. It's actually a pretty poor design, but we'll take right here, for instance. This says R8, R7, and R10. You see that?
Yeah.
R8, R7, R10. So then what you'd have to do is you'd have to look on here and see, you know, what is, so R6 through R11 is brown, black, brown.
R6 through R11?
Right. So yeah, you got here R8 through R11, and then R6 and 7 will be somewhere else. But they're telling you in the instructions that's brown, black, brown. So that would be your brown, black, brown resistors. But I guess it's just telling us to start with all the resistors. So that's where we're going to start.
Where we're going to start.
All right, so you want to take these. And what you're going to do is you're going to cut this tape just on one side. Go ahead and cut in between every one of those. You can hold this side too. You can touch this stuff. Just don't bend the legs. I guess this makes for some riveting YouTube right here. Continue.
Okay.
I'll just be over here talking to my friends out in YouTube land. Keep in mind, he is a little bit nervous with all of this stuff. It's all very new to him. But all right, so what we're gonna do, I'll show you the first one. We're gonna just lightly hold here. We're gonna grab the body of the resistor, and you're gonna kind of twist and pull, and it'll pull right out. That's just masking tape that's held in by. And then you're gonna do the same thing on this side. You're gonna hold this, and you're gonna twist and pull, and you're gonna pull that right off. And then we're gonna throw it in that bin. So now you got a resistor. Now, resistors don't matter which way you put them in. So like if you put them in this way or this way, it doesn't care. But generally, you always check your board to see if there's some kind of a designation for it. And otherwise, I always put the gold band, which is this way. I always put that gold band to the side away from the labeling. So you'd see there it's labeled R10 or R10. So then that gold band is going to be away from there. Okay. So this very first one, it's got a little bit of trick to it because you got to figure out how much lead you want to leave. And as I can see, you're going to take the very tip of the pliers. You see that? Is that focusing all right?
Yeah.
You're going to grab just that very edge. You're up against the body of the resistor, making sure that you're not squishing the body of the resistor. And then you're going to bend this 90 degrees. See how that is?
Yeah.
And you're going to do the same on the other side. Now, if you guys don't get these, if you bend these and they're a little bit off, in fact, this one's a little bit off. They're not both perfectly in line with one another. But that doesn't matter. When you put it in the hole, and double checking to make sure my gold is there you go. So it just drops right in the hole. And then I like to put my thumb on the resistor and then pull these a little bit away from each other. You guys didn't catch that. So I put my thumb on the resistor and I pull them away. And the purpose of that, it won't fall out of the board. So, all right, now we can go ahead. I'm gonna just leave that right on top of the paper. I think I need my lower power Superman glasses.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, I can see much better with these. Those ones are like super Superman glasses. All right. So you want to solder this, or you want me to show you how to do it the first time? All right. So first we touch this to our tongue.
No.
Absolutely not. For those of you guys out there that have never soldered before, and this is the first time, and you're just kind of checking into it and you want to get into it, soldering is not a magic process, but it is that the end of that tip is hot, and we're not we're all the way up. We don't need to be that hot, so I'm going to turn that down a little bit, but that is it's a hot iron. That's the way it works. So be careful. be careful. All right, so you want to take the very tip of that iron, and you don't necessarily want to heat the wire as much as the pad, so you get that down onto the pad. You see how I'm on the gold part?
Yeah.
And then just kind of roll it where it touches the wire. And then you're going to come in from this side with the solder. You do not want to melt the solder with the gun. You want to melt the solder, or I mean with the iron. You want to melt the solder with the pad. You want that to be the hot part. And then give it a second and it's going to flow. And I say that. There you go. And it's going to flow. See how it's sucked to that whole entire pad now?
Yeah. So it's like glue.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
There's actually what's called rosin inside the solder. So, and what happens is when the solder melts, that rosin goes all over the brass or the copper part, and it causes the solder to spread around.
I think it's making a screeching noise.
Yeah, it is. It's boiling the rosin out of there. Might still be a little too hot. Might have made the iron hot. I was soldering much thicker things. There you go, you're soldered.
It's very hot glue.
It is very, very hot glue. All right, so now you'll take your side cutters, and you don't want to cut down into the ball of solder, but just right above that ball of solder. And you're going to snip those two off. Now, technically, you should be wearing safety goggles. I guess I kind of have my safety goggles on. Yeah, you should go ahead and grab those.
Yeah. I'll get my Superman glasses.
I can probably get them easier than you.
My sister.
For those out there who are going to laugh that I'm making my kid put safety glasses on for soldering, and I know most of you are like, I'm not going to put safety goggles on. I've actually snipped those pieces of wire and had them fly up. I had one stick me right in my eyebrow one time, stuck into my skin. So
words of wisdom.
It can happen. So safety goggles are cheap insurance. So, all right. Well, that was the first resistor out of like 500 more that we got to do.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to end up being a pretty long video. So, all right, go ahead and take the next resistor out of that pack. Oh, is that? Yeah, that's the right pack. Remember what I told you?
Yeah.
You're gonna just lightly pinch it up here at the top on the tape. You're gonna pinch, like this. You're gonna hold it in your fingers. You gotta get back in camera. You gotta make sure you're in camera when you're doing this. You're gonna just lightly pinch it here, and you're gonna grab the body and twist it out.
You were going to grab it, but okay. Like grab it
Yep,
here?
right there, and just twist it. Now you can't physically squeeze that hard enough to break it, just so you know. That's made out of ceramic. So, and then you're gonna lay that pack down, and you're gonna do the same thing to that one. Make sure you're in focus of the camera, though.
Do you see it? Okay. Okay.
There you go. You're just taking the tape off. That's it.
Will you put it over
yeah,
there?
I'll put that over in the bin.
So now we...
In view of the camera, please.
Okay. And we do... right here?
Yep, just above the body line, right?
Okay.
Now wait a minute. All right, once you got that, and you're squeezing in on these, you don't turn the pliers. You take your thumb and you bend. You got to squeeze harder. Squeeze. And then you bend that down like that.
Okay.
You want that just a little bit of wire gap between the body and the bend, so that it has room to go into the board.
Oh, that's...
All right, now stop. Let's show everybody what happened. So, because he wasn't squeezing tight enough, let's maybe get a little dark color behind it. Because he wasn't squeezing tight enough on the pliers, you see how it kind of messed up the other leg. But the cool part is you can just unbend it. I mean, you're not going to hurt it unless you bend it back and forth a whole bunch of times. So go ahead and get grab on that again. Like that, but squeeze those pliers like you mean it. and then bend that leg down. Don't touch the other leg, just bend that leg down. There you go. All right, and this is a good example of what I was talking about in the beginning too. If you bend the legs down, it's very difficult to get them to bend exactly the same on both of them. But again, you just quick little adjustment, and it's beautifully straight.
Good.
All right, so now you could have been a little tighter to the body there. See how that leg's a little long, but that's all right. We're gonna work through that too, and we're gonna stick that bad boy in R7.
R7.
Which way is your gold bar?
This way.
There you go. You got it.
Yeah, holes are so small.
Well, they're actually just a little larger than the legs. Okay, so now you see because that one leg got bent a little long, it kind of sticks up. So you just push it down in. And then again, you're going to put your finger on there. And you're just going to bend these away.
Oh, it's there.
Now it's there. All right, so.
Oh, God.
Here comes the hot part. Ready for the hot part?
No.
Sure you are.
Then why did you ask?
Don't eat this.
It looks edible.
That's a good lesson too. Don't put solder in your mouth. I've seen a lot of technical people take a piece of solder and hold it in their mouth and then use it and put it back in their mouth. That is majority lead, and that'll make for a really bad day. All right. Now hold it like a pencil. Hold it like a pencil, like this. That's what that big pad's there for. That's not hot, is it?
No.
No, because you're not touching the silver part. All right. Now you're gonna bring that. You're gonna bring that down. Are we in view of the camera? You're gonna bring that right down to the pad, and you're gonna kind of put a little pressure on there. Not hard enough to break the board, but hard enough to start to transfer that heat. And then you're gonna come in with that solder. And when you watch it, it will start to flow. And then up. I gotta say, I don't like the way this board is flowing. I'm gonna grab some alcohol and a paper towel. Oh, you can put that back in the.
Or that. Okay.
It's possible that this board has some kind of a protectant sprayed on it, so that it doesn't corrode inside the packaging. Which, I mean, more power to the manufacturer. That's awesome. I'd rather not deal with, but it's kind of my bad for not thinking about it ahead of time and wiping all of this off. It's not often that I build kit stuff anymore. It's usually my own PC boards that I'm working with.
Because you're a tech guy.
Well, most of the time it's custom stuff that I'm building.
And at one point you really liked Arduinos.
Oh, I still love Arduinos, but
yeah, like
the Arduino itself you don't solder onto.
That was like the main word of that time.
Yeah, we're gonna do some Arduino projects here in this channel. Whew. All right, so let's bend that leg back, bend that leg back. All right, so now
we need the next one.
Don't want to give anybody motion sickness, but I'd like to bring that in just a little bit. All right, so go ahead and take the hot thing back.
I didn't put it in.
That's all right. You can dab it in there. Okay. All it takes. You just want to clean that sludge off of there. All right. So go ahead and you see where you're going with it. All right. You don't have to shake so much, buddy. It's not going to hurt you. And then we're going to flow the solder. Oh, yeah, it's already better. And then take it away. That's it. And take it away. X-ray that. Yeah, that looks fine. Oh, just it's an awful kit. I don't know. The legs of these components are so sticky from the tape. So, all right. So that's where's my pen?
Your pen?
My pen.
Pen?
Oh, here it is. All right. So we have done those, and we've done those. So R5. I can't say that I understand R5. R5 is listed as a 0. Where's R5 on this board?
So we're looking for 05?
No, R5.
Oh, right here.
R5. All right, so it's a large.
That thing.
I don't know. I gotta bring it in closer to the Superman glasses. Yeah, all right, so I really wish that I could focus on this so that you could see this. I have never seen a resistor like this. It just has one black bar.
Huh?
It does not have stripes.
Oh
It's just
my
got
God.
a single black, and I have never seen that. I don't. Maybe I'm crazy. If any of you guys know particularly what that is, I would love to. I'd love you to leave a comment and school me on that.
Yeah,
I've never seen. Maybe it's just their way of doing a jumper. Maybe, you know what? Let's take a second here. I'm gonna grab the meter. We're gonna bust out the multi-tester, and we are gonna set that for 200 ohms is my lowest setting.
What are you doing?
And that's reading a 0.7. So that must just be their version of a jumper. Again, I don't know. A 0.7 ohm resistor is a little crazy, but I'll have to do some research on that. But again, if you guys out there know, you guys know what that is,
Leave a comment.
yeah, please leave a comment. I'd love to be schooled on that. So, all right, we'll go ahead and solder that thing in there. While I enjoy some delicious beverage.
Stop moving.
Oh, sorry.
Finish this.
Just make sure that you only bring that solder to the pad. All right, that's good. You gotta touch the pad and the wire. There you go. Gotta make sure you're getting the lead in there. You want that solder to stick to the lead as well. That's good. That flowed.
Okay.
That flowed. Fluid.
Fluid.
Flooded. Floated.
Fluid. The fluid.
Okay. So now we can check that guy off too. Yeah, it literally lists it as 0 ohms. Let's see if I can move this. It's listed as R5 0 ohms. So that must be their version of a jumper. I don't know why they wouldn't just give you a piece of wire. All right, so that is the end of the resistors. So it only took us an hour to do all the resistors. All right, so now it wants diodes. Is this? It does not say whether it's a standard diode or the Xeners. Well, it's D1 through. I don't know if there are standard. No, there are no standard diodes. They are all Zener diodes. So
some of them are bent a little.
So it's D1 through D21, and then for some amazing reason, they're not even in order. 21, 20, 15, 17, 11, 14. Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. D1, D4, D3, D2. So, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and snip these apart quick and get them bent up for him. All right, go ahead and take this one out. Now, these, any type of diode is absolutely critical. We got to check our spacing too. Yeah, these are a little bit further away, so you want to go a little bit. I don't know why I keep doing that off the camera. You want to go a little bit further in on the tip of your pliers because you want a little bit more lead. But these have a black bar on them, and that black bar has to line up with the designation on the PC board, because these are a one-way component. So you can go ahead and solder that. Oh, you know you wanna.
No.
You're like, I totally want to be the guy that does all the soldering.
No, I really don't.
Wait till we build the light over on with Christmas controllers.
The what?
The controllers for the Christmas lights.
Oh, we're doing that?
I got 2 of them I gotta build. That's a lot of soldering on those.
What?
On the Christmas light controllers. Alright, that's too long. Take it away. You're gonna burn the board. Did you get it?
Yep. That's good. The whole board.
Yep, that's fine. Ugh. These tapes are sticking to my fingers.
Yeah.
All these tapes.
Tapes. Want me to cut the part stuff?
Yep, you can trim those off. Alright, here you go.
Oh. About to use these ones.
Yeah, can't use the pliers. My wife's downstairs yelling at the cat.
Maybe not the cat, but
Waiting for the little one to come busting through the door. Dad, it's
yeah.
Dad. Mom, I mean Dad. Oh yeah, I'm mistaken. She's yelling at my other kid.
Yep.
They're both good kids, but that one's a little rambunctious.
Talkie.
He does talk a lot. He talks a lot.
If he were a dwarf, his name would be Talkie.
All right, so that's all 5 million Xander diodes. All right, so here's a good lesson too. This is an electrolytic capacitor. This guy right here is a ceramic capacitor. See those? They both do the same thing. They both store a little electricity to either level it out, to maintain, to stop surges, that kind of stuff. But this one, you see, it's got minus, 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 minus.
Yeah.
This can only go in one way. It's got polarity. This one doesn't matter. So we run it the same way. Whichever way the markings are, we match the markings on the board to the markings on the capacitor itself. So, and that's going to be, looks like C1. Ooh, we're finally getting some rain here in Florida, and it's pretty exciting. We haven't had rain in so long. We have high burn warnings and stuff, burn bans and
brush fire,
extreme danger and burning, and so we're really excited to finally have the rain.
Been raining almost all day.
All right, so there's your capacitors. You want to do these? You want me to do these?
You do these.
This was supposed to be your project. For the record, those of you guys out there that are watching, I do make him do his own school projects. I'm not that kind of dad.
No. But Mom is nice.
You don't learn when somebody else does your stuff.
Didn't do it for me. I did the work. She just helped.
All right, so
now it just looks like a thing with silver dots on it.
I think I want to when I build the next Christmas light controller, I think I'm going to actually not necessarily live stream it here for you guys, but I'm going to video blog it. Just to well, it's a really great kit. If you ever think about and I'm not paid by these guys, I'm just going to say this, but if you guys are ever interested in animating your Christmas lights, the Lightorama stuff is such good quality. Yeah. And if you're a hands-on do-it-yourself kind of person, their kits are just, they're so much fun to build. It takes a while. I think it took me 6 or 7 hours to build the first one, and now I can do them in about 4 start to finish, but it's a lot of fun. All right, so I've got to put the switch in. Switch is pretty self-explanatory, because if you were going to put the switch in, you wouldn't put it like this, right?
No.
No. You know that it goes to the edge. That's pretty self-explanatory. Now, these leads are real short. You see, these leads, you can't bend them over to hold it. So what you got to do is you just got to lay it down on the table. Sometimes I'll use blue painter's tape and tape the component in. You know, when I'm quiet, you could say stuff.
Oh, okay.
You could be like, well, he's soldering that switch. You can be like the John Madden. You can be like, well, he's either going to get it soldered or he's not. That's my terrible John Madden impression.
I don't think I'm going to do that.
All right, now the variable resistor. I don't know if it's for speed or what it's for, but so, and that's got 3 legs. It's a 3-legged piece, so it can only go in one way. So it is the speed. So like you can't put it in wrong.
No.
It can only go in one way. Now these leads are long enough that you could bend them over. In a higher amperage situation, I would bend those legs down onto the pad. We definitely got to replace this camera.
Yeah.
I would bend those leads down onto the pad and solder them on to handle any higher amperage that it may require. There's no way this is a high amperage situation, so I'm going to go ahead and just solder them. I may not even clip these off. They're not really that long. I can't even with my Superman glasses, I can't see. No, I only got half of that soldered. See, I have a better Superman disguise than Clark Kent does. He only wears glasses, and when he takes it off, he looks the same just without glasses. When I take off mine and I'm Superman, I get hair too.
Yeah, you have to put on the wig.
Funny kid. Alright, so the next thing is the IC socket. Now here's the socket, and the reason that they give you a socket, you could just take this chip and you could solder this chip in without the socket, but there's two problems here. One, if the chip ever goes bad, you can just pluck it out and put a new one in.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly because these are very sensitive to not only static but also heat. So by soldering that 16 times, you stand a good chance of burning it. Now, the socket and the chip both always have a keyway. Right here in the top, there's a little notch. You see that little notch?
Yeah, I see it.
That's your keyway. And then if you look at the board, there will always be a keyway too. And I think about 99.99999% of the time that keyway lines up with pin 1. I've actually run into a couple chips that didn't, but and you're going to want to make sure that that keyway in the socket is lined up with that keyway on the board. And and I just punched that leg in.
Oh.
So that was going to be my next thing I was going to tell you, is to make sure that those legs are straight when you're putting them in. Sometimes it's best to take your pliers and grab all the way across and just, give it a quick straightening. Make sure none of those have solder. Make sure they're all drilled. And then double check. But if you don't get that keyway right, let me tell you what, it'll cause you some headaches. You start chasing a phantom problem that you're just not sure what's going on, or stuff's not responding right or reacting right. Well, that's either the socket got soldered on or you snapped the chip into the wrong hole. All right, so you're gonna have to help out here, buddy.
Okay.
You take the iron.
Iron.
Take the iron. And pick, you see these 16, just pick one. I don't care which one. Make sure you're not touching that one back there. Don't lift up a little bit so you're not touching. There you go. Oh, please don't burn me. That's it. Nope. Oh, go down here. I should have explained that to him before. When you're doing ICs or sockets, not as critical on the socket, and then go to this one over here. Alternate. Do your 4 corners first so that you're not building all the heat up in one spot. Okay, away. All right, clean your tip. Because if you build up all that heat in one spot, you'll start to melt the socket or burn out the IC. You make me really nervous the way you wing that soldering iron around by my hands and fingers. Okay, all right. Now it's held in there because we did the 4 corners. Now it's held in there tight.
Yep.
And now, right now, people are screaming at their screen. You just said don't do them like that. You said to alternate, and I'm not. I'm doing them straight across, but it's only because I know how quickly I can do it. And I know that I'm not building the heat up. But here we'll alternate. We'll come across this way. Back to here. Go to here. Then we'll go to here. And then no matter what, I have to do this next one right next to it because it's the last one. That's it. All right. So now I gotta bring it in close to my face. Yeah, looks all right.
Looks like Hershey Kisses.
It actually looks like pretty terrible soldering. I'm really not. I'm not happy with the way this is turning out. I really think there's something on this board.
Oh, so it's not me. Okay.
Oh no. Again, buddy, you're learning. I mean, I'm not upset with the work that you've done.
Oh wow.
I mean, that's a lot of stuff already, isn't it? So, and you look inside of some, you open up a cell phone or a DirecTV receiver, a little plug for DirecTV there. There's a lot of components inside of stuff. All right, so now the transistors, and there's There is BC 547, which is T1 and T2, and there is BC 557, which is T3. So, on the flat part of the transistor, there is writing. There is some very, very hard to read
Right.
writing. I miss my young eyes. All right, we're gonna have to go to the Superman specs. I'll just put them right over the top of the other Superman specs.
Oh my God, that's mega Superman.
Yeah, I never do this in the sun because you could catch the whole Earth on fire. All right, this is the 557, so we're gonna set that off to the side.
Never do what, please?
Double stack your magnifying glasses.
No.
All right, so now
It'll turn into a ball of fire and then just.
again, this is T1 and T2, and you see here, here's T1, T2, and you see how they're designated on the board, but the pins are straight. The pins are straight across. So what you want to do, you want to take your pliers and you want to grab that back leg, and you can go a good ways in, and you're going to draw it back like this. Now I did not lay my pliers back. I'm keeping it in line with the package, and then you can check, see how close you are. You thought those two-legged components were hard to get in the holes. And then there you go. You can see that little guy is stuck in there. See how that's stuck in there?
Yep.
It just stands up a little bit, and then we're going to give him a little heat and solder.
We're going to give him 3 Hershey Kisses.
You know, I think between us and a couple of the other YouTubers that we watch, we can actually start a movement to get the whole country to start pronouncing it solder instead of solder. We might as well say it right. So,
Solder.
I mean, it's not a silent L in there. One of the other YouTubers that I follow, one of his followers was saying that he actually Googled it, and it comes down to that here in America we use the English spelling, which is SOLDER, but we use the French pronunciation. And you'll have to forgive me, I can't remember how it was spelled in French, but it was said as solder. So somehow somebody in there got mixed up along the way. But it's spelled with an L, so I think we should say it. Plus it differentiates us from those who say it wrongly. Alright, that is T1 and T2.
Like so many holes, but not many parts left.
No, but some of those components are 3-legged. There's actually not too many more to do. A couple of capacitors and then the LEDs. LEDs are my favorite. When I was in college, I went to ITT Tech. But every school project I did had to have LEDs. I was so infatuated with LEDs. And then I forget what it was that I built, but it required, I guess it didn't require, I wanted it to have a blue LED, which, you know, today everybody just shrugs off, okay, so what, blue LED, everything's got those. They were like $70 a piece.
Wow.
So I wrote to the company that made them and asked for a free sample. I told them I was doing a project for college, and they did. They sent me just one, but I got a free $70 blue LED. Still have it somewhere around here. I unsoldered it out of the project. I wasn't going to just abandon a $70 LED.
That you got for free.
Hey, free or not. So, which that's a good point. If you guys are ever designing circuitry and there's a specialty component that you need, generally if you write to the company and explain to them what you're doing, as long as you're not doing it for commercial purposes, or I guess really even if you are, I mean, if you're looking to design something that you're going to mass produce and you want to use their, they'll generally send you a sample. I mean, I've had companies where I've asked for one and they sent me a half dozen or whatever. Components are so cheap to manufacture. It's really the research and development behind them. So if you ask nicely, don't expect anything. Don't be like, give it to me. But just ask them if they have any type of like an educational program that you know would allow you to get a sample of it, or you know, don't write to them and tell them you want 100 of them. But they'll generally, the companies are really good about that. They'll send you a component or two so that you can build your project. So I had a few times in college where I had to do that. All right, so looking at the board now, we're doing C3, C4, and C5. There's 247 microfarad. See the 47 and that little UF on there? Yeah. That's microfarad. That U is actually the symbol. It's backwards. It's not like a regular U like this. It's like this. That's the symbol for micro. So we want 247s. Now the board is marked with a plus. The component is marked with a minus. So you got to make sure that longer lead, if it's a new component, if it's already been clipped off, you got to watch it. But the longer lead is your plus side, so you're going to stick that down in the. So C3 and C4 were both the. Both the 47s. Oh, don't start dozing off on me. Xander's going to take a nap on our feed here.
I'm going to take a nap right on the stair.
And then this should be the 100. Yes, it is. And if you guys are picking components on capacitors, you got to watch your voltages too. So if it's a 47 microfarad 16 volt, you don't want to put anything less than that, but you can put more. Like if it's a 50 volt, that's fine, as long as the farads match. The capacitance. Unless you're talking about the flux capacitor out of Back to the Future, then it has to be specific. I once had a neighbor actually tell another neighbor that, you know, he had tuned up his car and it was running better and he had to replace the flux capacitor. And he said it to the guy completely straight-faced, and it took me a while to realize that he was kind of serious. Like whatever it was that he replaced, he thought that was actually a flux capacitor. Guess it was taking him back in time. It was like a 1980 Nissan or Datsun 280Z, but yeah, nothing cool like a DeLorean. All right, so that's the 3 capacitors. It wants us to put in the microchip. Now, and it says on here, watch the position of the notch. So now here's a little critical, because again, this comes in an anti-static foam, so you want to make sure that you're not static built up. I'll just discharge onto him. I don't actually have a grounding pole here, but I'm going to take it out very carefully and not touch any of the pins. I'm going to check the pins to make sure. Wait, what? If I had static built up, I would have shocked you.
Okay.
So you're just going to make sure that none of the pins are bent, and you're going to lay it down into the socket, but you're not going to push it in yet. Because look here, I just laid it in, and every pin on that side is not in the hole. So we're going to lean it up, and we're just going to kind of work it over. This is the part where I bend the pins, but only as a demonstration. I would never actually do that in real life. Yeah, they're too far apart. If you look, I'm gonna end up touching the pins. If you look down the line, you can tell that it's kind of bowed out like this, and they need to come in. So we're going to take our pliers. We're going to grab them all. In fact, you know what? Here's a better way to do it. You're going to lay it down. Lay it down on a flat surface like this table, and you're going to just kind of roll it up just a little bit. You're going to do the same on the other side. Something to do with the way it's manufactured. All right. So now, paying attention to the notch. There, slid right in. Huh?
Yeah.
Did I get the notch right?
I think so.
Yeah, because the notch is right here and pin 1's right there, so definitely good. Now comes all the LEDs.
We still have this.
Oh, good call. Totally missed T3. This thing would have sucked.
Go.
Dang, he caught me early. I was trying to wait till the very end to see if he caught on to that. Not really. That was
Wait. So you're trying to do that on purpose?
that was a total screw up on my part. I can smell dinner.
Me too.
All right, we got T3 down in there now. Did we miss something else? Because there's holes here too.
Oh, I don't think so. This, but
Oh yeah, that might be where the battery connects. All right. I'll just clip them little legs off. Look at that. Look at that.
looks like a power plant.
Hammer.
Yeah.
Fix it, Felix.
Fix it, Felix.
All right, so now we go on to the LEDs. Watch the polarity. Well, actually, it's telling me to put the battery holder on next.
Don't skip anything.
And it looks like... All right, I'm going to have to kind of lay this on there for a second because there's 3 holes. So it looks like the wires go through here. Yeah, that looks like it's going to be all right. And then they don't give you very much lead. I guess wherever this was made, wire's expensive. So we're going to hook this. Wow. Yeah, they could have given us at least 2 or 3 more centimeters of wire. All right, so that's through the hole marked positive. Fortunately, it's staying. Go. Snip that nib. I know you guys can't see what I'm doing, but then the negative, whew, and they put it in there so tightly too. This thing has to pretty much hang complete U-turn and go right back through the board. I'm gonna have to get in there with the pliers. It's tight. Can't see what I'm doing. It's like either I can do it or I can show it to you. I don't know if I can do both. Alright. Hopefully that was the right way. I mean, I can't imagine that the battery went on the component side.
Does it snap on somehow, or?
Screws.
Uh,
That screws that come through the board.
oh yeah, I forgot about those.
Yeah, I didn't grab the screwdriver. It's up on the pegboard. See, I told you there was more hand tools. And I can't really, yeah, it looks like it just goes through the board. Threads down into the plastic. Try the number 2. It fits it a little better. You want to do this?
Hmm?
Do this?
Yeah, I guess.
You just want to run them in until they're snug. You don't want to make it too tight. Put it in camera view, please. There you go. Probably good. Yeah, I think we need a camera overhead. Camera mounted up here, looking straight down on what we're doing.
Or with like the hands-on projects and stuff.
They're all going to be hands-on projects.
Well, not for like the 3D printer, but stuff like that.
Tight?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I think you actually over tighten that one. That one might be stripped, but that's okay.
It's fine.
It's alright. It's just a coarse screw into plastic, so it's.
Eat food.
Oh, you know what? That also works as the base.
Yeah.
Look at that. Oh. Look at that. It's working as the base.
Oh.
Just no weight in it right now.
Oh,
Alright, so this says watch the polarities on the LEDs, which is great, except for it doesn't say what color is what. So
I think green is on.
Well, yellow is definitely in the middle. Oh no, it's red. I see how they did it. Red at the top, yellow in the middle, green on the bottom. Okay. So you have to watch the polarities, it says. Alright, so I want these to kind of stick out a little bit. So I'm going to actually grab them with my pliers all the way down at the flattest part. LEDs, for anybody that doesn't know, and I don't know if you can see this, but LEDs have a flat, they have a flat edge, which is the cathode. The board itself is always marked, and that's what you're lining up. So I guess this project, you could just build these with them in flat like that, but I don't want to do that. I want to bend them out. I want them to stick out a ways, but I don't know how to gauge this. So we're just going to bend them. Bend them like that. So, and it is showing the long leg, yeah, the long leg going away from the flat part. All right, so now this one I want to bend exactly the opposite. So this one I want the cathode down. Now we're going to grab that flat part of the pliers, bend it. And that's going to put the long leg down that way. Long leg down that way. And then why is there two holes? Here in the center.
I don't know.
These instructions leave a lot to be desired as well.
I wonder that.
I wonder if they made it to where you could put an LED on both sides, but
yeah, because there's 4 of them. There's 4 of different.
oh, there are 4 reds.
4 of every color. Oh.
Huh. Well, I guess then. That's what they did.
Okay.
There she is, 100%. Can't get it into the camera. So let's stick a battery in it and see if we can let the mythical blue smoke come out of it.
Right.
I would say these LEDs are hooked up backwards.
Which is just a really bad battery. Well, 2 are lighting up.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking that these are in backwards. But this battery is weak. So tell you what, let us get a new battery. Let me troubleshoot these LEDs and make sure I didn't put them in backwards. And we'll be back with you in a few minutes to show you how this thing works. Stay tuned. Hey, we're back. Sorry that took so long. We had to drive all the way to the store. I know, we were right back to you, but that's okay. So before we left, I did a little more looking, and this battery was working. The problem was it's just so weak that the LEDs just weren't bright. So we went and got this brand new pack of energizers. I'm gonna put that in the bin.
Yep. The bin.
The garbage can right there. All right, so okay, it's off, and we're gonna go ahead and
put it in.
Snap the battery into that thing. Let me go ahead and kick the other camera on. We're there, all right, yeah. So here it is. In fact, let me turn the light off on this guy, and there we go. So it's kind of hard to tell, but it is red on the 2 sides, and it's
green on those 2.
Oh, went to yellow.
No, it's yellow.
And red. And then that drops to green.
Green, yeah. Rudolph.
It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
You know, a few relays, and this would be easy enough to adapt up to my full-size stoplight. And then I guess this potentiometer.
That's going to turn green.
It'll take a little longer that way. Or maybe it's faster, I don't know. Let's turn it and see what happens.
It's taking longer.
It does seem like it's taking longer. Yellow, red, green. So overall, it turned out.
Yeah, it's nice. I like it.
It was a
hard work.
It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
I won't say that it was the best project to be a first soldering project.
Well, it turned out to look alike, and
looking at this packaging, there's not a name or not a age requirement or recommendation on there. I guess at the point you know how to solder, you're old enough to do it. But it's a Velleman kit. I don't know if they're still around or if it was just a Radio Shack thing or whatever, but the instructions were terrible.
No,
the board definitely had something caked all over it that was causing it to not flow solder.
Yeah.
And then that horrible tape that was
that tape was
on the
horrible.
component leads. But we may come up with a different project, maybe something a little simpler, just like a dice game. In fact, that was the first thing that we did in college. That was the first soldering project. It was a board with a button, and you'd push it, and it had LEDs like a dice, like a die, and it would just give you a random number 1 to 6. So
that's cool.
Might look into that. That was a little bit easier that way, but no, overall I'm pleased. You feel like you learned anything?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can do all the soldering from now on?
No.
Like all the projects?
No.
No. Well, you got to start somewhere, and soldering's a good skill to have. I really want to get him into welding, but he's a little intimidated. I think I scared him because he was going to be in the garage one day when I was welding, and I said to him, "Do not look at the light. It's a beautiful light, but don't look at it."
Look.
Yeah, likes to wear the helmet, but doesn't want to try the welding. So, well, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Typical YouTube stuff. If you like what we're doing, hit that subscribe button. In fact, YouTube now, if you want to get notifications, you also have to hit the little bell after you subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs down. If you didn't like the video, we're all right. Give us a thumbs down and throw a comment in there and tell us what we can do to get better.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been on this earth for a while, but I'm kind of new to this YouTube thing.
Yeah. Don't worry. It won't hurt us.
Yeah. No, we don't take it offensively.
No.
I mean, we know how to handle ourselves.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thanks.
Thanks.
And we'll see you in the next video. And as always,
Print on.